Hi everyone, hope that you're all well and that you're keeping fit and healthy during the lockdown. I'm going to look at something today called interval training as part of the fitness training. Now, interval training is where you work at a high level of intensity and then you follow up that little bit of work with either a piece of low intensity work or a period of rest. Anyone can use it really. You can use it for someone who's an athlete or a swimmer or someone who's a games player who maybe kind of recreates the levels of high intense work. Some of the advantages you get from it is that it can actually burn a lot of calories. It's also very simple to do. You don't need a lot of equipment. It's also easy to kind of measure your improvement by tracking your heart rate. It's also very easy to develop it, to make it harder, to kind of overload what you're doing. Some of the disadvantages is that because it's quite high intense work, it means that it takes a lot of work from you, it takes a lot of commitment, and it's quite difficult at times to do. It's also kind of weather dependent as well. And the other problem that you may have is that because you're working at such high intensity, you need a little bit more time, usually about 48 hours to recover from your training session. There's different ways that you can do interval training. I'm going to show you two different ways with sprinting and running. It depends on your outdoor space that you have. I'm going to show you again two different ways that you could do that. And hopefully, if you want to use that, then this will help you to develop your little training sessions. Now, to make it harder and develop your interval training, you can run or work for longer distances or times. That can develop over time so that you gradually improve on that. You can also run for a period of time and increase that period of time or work for that period of time. We kind of call these sets and reps. So every time I would do a run, it would be a rep or a repetition, and a collection of them would be a set. So I might do a set of 6 reps, which would be 6 runs. So that's a good way of tracking it, and it's also a good way for me to be able to then increase it or decrease it depending on what I want for my training program. Okay, so this is one option where you come to an outdoor space or a local park. Obviously you need to be mindful of your social distancing at the moment, making sure that you've got 2 meters between anyone around you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a set of 6 reps of sprints. So I've got the bike as my start point, the jump I put down as the second point where I'm going to sprint to. So I'm going to sprint between those, walk back, and I'm going to do that 6 repetitions and 1 set. Obviously before I do this, make sure that I've warmed up, had a good stretch, so that I'm ready to take part in the activity. Okay, wish me luck. Okay, this is another option. Some of you may not be able to have access to a park or an open space. Your garden might not be long enough to do kind of sprint training in. Mine certainly isn't. So this is another way that you can do it, and this is actually a little bit more difficult because this is on a hill. So I'm going to do some hill sprints now. So that increases the intensity because it's harder running uphill. Obviously it's up to you how you change that and whether you want to. A couple of things to obviously bear in mind. 1, remember your socially distancing rules. 2, depending on where you live and how busy the roads are and how much traffic there is, obviously please take care when you're doing this if you're doing this outside on the street. So I'm going to do another set of 6 reps. This time I'm obviously going to be going uphill. It's going to be a lot harder. So I'm going to go between this lamppost and the lamppost that's up there. Okay, here we go. So hopefully that makes sense with what interval training is. If you choose to use that in your training program, good luck, and I hope that you can stay well, healthy and fit. Take care and stay safe.